This morning on DC News Now, a weekend of celebration marked by violence in the district. Police working to make arrests in a string of shootings. Plus, humid with some patchy fog and drizzle this morning, but we're drying out for the afternoon. Meteorologist Jackie Layer has details of the next threat for storms. And a travel ban in effect and immigration crackdowns continue. Food shelters say the climate causing local families to forgo aid.
Just seeing the fear in people's eyes and the uncertainty that they're currently going through.
Preparations for the Army's birthday parade, the tanks, the troops, and the festivities heading to the district. And the streets across the DMV full of pride. Thousands gathering for the weekend's Pride events.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Well, good morning and thanks for starting your Monday with us here on DC News Now at 6 o'clock. I'm Tanaya Wright.
And good morning. Happy Monday. I'm Shanika Grimshaw. I'll be tracking your roads. We do have one big problem in Woodbridge, and it is going to be pretty foggy out there this morning, so be careful out there on the roadways. And how long is this fog going to last?
Yeah, likely through mid to late morning, and then eventually that should lift out. We'll see more sunshine developing later on this afternoon. That fog, though, quite thick across much of the area. We are seeing visibility down about a mile or less from D.C. to Leesburg. Hagerstown about 2 miles or less, and back over towards our westernmost area, Shenandoah Valley, dealing with about a mile or less of visibility there. Fredericksburg, you just see that slight reduction right now. Annapolis, you're down about 4 miles as well. Temperatures, it's a warm start to the day. It's also quite humid too. Temperatures are starting off in those upper 60s to right around 70, but we are also dealing with dew points well into those upper 60s. That's that humid to almost soupy feel to the air. And that's what we're dealing with as you're stepping out on this Monday morning commute. So it's humid out there right now and foggy. Some patchy drizzle too cannot be ruled out. We'll see decreasing cloud cover as we get closer towards the 11 o'clock hour. We'll see a bit more of that sunshine. We'll be muggy with temperatures climbing back lower 80s later on by the 3 p.m. Time frame. But then we do see that chance for some isolated thunderstorms later on this evening. More details on that coming up as Shanika is back with the all-important look at those roadways. What are you seeing at the 6 o'clock hour?
All right, here's this problem in Dale City. This is heading southbound along 95. So we have slick road conditions, and you can see there's a crash involving a tractor trailer. You are now able to get by to the left. You can see traffic is bottlenecking single file to the left. It's still going to be quite slow for commuters at this hour. Showing you on the map where that crash is. So at one point you were closed in this area. Again, Dumfries just past 234 and right before 619. So right in that area, 95, again, heading south, that is going to be pretty slow. Heading northbound, I'm not seeing much right now. You're looking good to go. Now checking in on the Maryland side of things, this is the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, and you can see all that fog out there. So again, definitely take it easy, especially with slick road conditions out there. It is just going to make for a mess this morning. It is going to be pretty busy out there in the later hours of the morning, so definitely keep that in mind.
We see danger to our country and to our citizens, and we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order.
What we're seeing in LA is chaos caused by the administration.
Well, some breaking news now out of LA. Elected leaders trading blame after a weekend of clashes between thousands of protesters and immigration authorities. President Trump now deploying the National Guard to the city. Agents unleashing tear gas, flashbang explosives, and pepper balls. Protesters throwing rocks and cement at Border Patrol vehicles and lighting cars on fire. And the tensions remain high after multiple sweeps by immigration authorities Friday. The number of immigrants arrested now climbing past 100.
That's right. The White House says the Guard will address the lawlessness that's been allowed to fester. At this time, it is not clear when the troops will arrive. Meantime, California Governor Gavin Newsom calling the deployment of troops, quote, purposefully inflammatory, and saying they will only increase tensions on the street. He did urge protesters to remain peaceful, and the LAPD thanking protesters who were peaceful and calling out acts of vandalism, saying police were overwhelmed.
When peaceful demonstrations devolve into acts of vandalism or violence, especially violence directed at innocent people, law enforcement officers, and others, we must respond firmly. An act of violence, whether toward officers, demonstrators, or the public, will be met with swift and lawful action.
All right, this is a developing story. We will continue to keep you updated as we learn more throughout the morning. Turning now to new developments in the case against a wrongfully deported Maryland man. He was brought back to the U.S., but only to face serious charges. Federal prosecutors now allege that Kilmar Abrego Garcia worked to bring thousands of undocumented Latin Americans into the country. They also accuse him of trafficking both guns and drugs. This all stems from a 2022 traffic stop in Tennessee. Now, during that stop, officers reportedly suspected Abrego Garcia of human trafficking, but let him go without a warning.
And as tensions over immigration enforcement increase, the president's new travel ban is now in effect. Some 12 countries on the list, including Haiti, Afghanistan, and Iran. The travel ban rejects visa applications from those people in those 12 countries. One person says it's unfair.
I am Haitian, and so I have family in Haiti, and so it is pretty upsetting to see and hear. I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's very upsetting to see and hear, and I hope that times get better.
And immigration experts say the new ban is designed to beat any court challenge by focusing on the visa application process. And plans are underway for the massive military parade celebrating the Army's 250th birthday, set to take place Saturday in D.C.
Yeah, it also coincides with President Trump's 79th birthday. Our Candace Cole is at the National Mall with everything you need to know to plan ahead. Good morning, Candace.
Good morning. Well, Saturday's parade is set to bring huge crowds of people here to the National Mall. An estimated 200,000 people all set to arrive here to celebrate the Army's 250th birthday. Now, the parade is set to start at 6:30 p.m. Saturday and go along Constitution Avenue Northwest from 23rd Street Northwest to 15th and Constitution. The festivities will include fireworks, a concert, and celebrity appearances, and will also, of course, showcase hundreds of military vehicles and equipment, including Army tanks, Bradley fighting vehicles, and Paladin howitzers. Now, there will also be military flyovers to mark the occasion as well. The celebration is set to cost a hefty $45 million. About a third of that will be used to cover the cost of damage that could be done to D.C. roads by those Army tankers, a point of contention for D.C.'s Mayor Muriel Bowser. Now, to try to lessen the impact of those tankers, the Army is putting down these huge metal plates all over Constitution Avenue to absorb their impact, and repairs are set to start immediately after.
Once the parade is complete, we want to return these roadways fully to the DC commuters and all those that use these roads to get to and from work and to visit our capital city. So very, very minimal damage.
Now, and just a note for anyone who's got planned to travel in or out of D.C. On Friday, especially Friday evening, those flyovers are set to take place out of Reagan National Airport, which will be closed from about 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. So just double check your flight statuses and make arrangements for travel as you need to prepare to get around those closures. But for now, reporting live from the National Mall, Candace Cole, DC News Now.
All right, Candace, thank you. She's right. Yeah, be sure to check your flights. All right, turning now to the district. DuPont Circle has reopened following violence during World Pride events over the weekend. Police say 2 juvenile boys were stabbed Saturday while involved in a fight. An hour later, police responded to a shooting across the street. This happening after the National Park Service and the mayor's office announced DuPont Circle will reopen for World Pride following the original decision to close the park. Witnesses we spoke with reacting to what they saw.
I just saw the caution tape between the cops and everyone gone.
I think it's always sad to see like a violence at an event that's all about love and inclusion, you know what I mean?
And police say both juveniles who were stabbed and the man who was shot were taken to the hospital.
And police are investigating after a man was shot and killed in Prince George's County in a parking garage. Now, this happened at about 5 o'clock Saturday morning on Warfield Drive near Morgan Boulevard. That is where police found a man suffering from that gunshot wound. He died at the scene. If you have any information, you're asked to call police.
And developing now, D.C. Defenders cornerback Kelvin Joseph is facing charges for a fatal crash that killed a woman driving a motorcycle. This happening early Saturday morning in the Dallas area. Joseph was reportedly under the influence at the time of the crash. He was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys back in 2021 and signed with the Defenders a few months ago. Joseph was set to play in the team's division championship game. That was yesterday. The Defenders took down the St. Louis Battlehawks in yesterday's game. And in the district, 2 people are now safe after their boat overturned in the Potomac River. First responders making the rescue yesterday afternoon. You can see that right there on your screen. And that was near Water Street in Georgetown. It's unclear how exactly the boat flipped over. And 6:10 this morning, DuPont Circle reopening that Saturday right before World Pride Weekend kicked off.
Yeah, the event drew in millions from across the country and around the world. Our Dave Laval brings us the sights and the sounds.
A festive celebration in Northwest D.C.
It's World Pride, hello! Everyone is happy. Everyone is excited.
Capitol Hill's Kiki Jomo has attended D.C.'s Pride Parade for the last 5 years. There's no way she would miss this year's festivities.
I hope it brings everyone together more. And, you know, I hope the future is brighter for the LGBT community.
More people make their way along the parade route than in the past. The district is hosting World Pride for the first time. Organizers said there are at least 50 more groups taking part in the event, including the host of next year's World Pride, Amsterdam.
Be who you are, love who you want, and be yourself.
Hey, hey, hey! World Pride is expected to attract between 2 to 3 million people, with an economic impact of more than $600 million. Mayor Muriel Bowser hopes they take something more valuable with them.
Celebrate Pride, experience Washington, D.C., and go home with great memories.
Time right now is 6:11 on a Monday. The sunshine may be a great reason to go outside, but it also means you have to pay extra attention to your skin.
That's right. Listen up. After this, the do's and don'ts of protecting yourself from sunburns. Plus, the honor of a lifetime for the Washington Capitals head coach. We're going to tell you more about that next.
But first, we are taking a live look outside. Jackie, what can people expect when they step out?
Yeah, we are seeing some of that fog out there this morning. That's reducing visibility quite low for a good chunk of the region. But at least later today, we will see more sunshine. And have a chance for some thunderstorms developing later this evening. Of all these details, the timing, and who could see that potential thunderstorm right after the break.